Let's give you an update of the headlines here on Al Jazeera. Libyan government forces have launched a fresh attack on the western town of AlJazeera. At least 30 people, mostly civilians, are said to have been killed on Saturday alone. Further east, anti-Gaddafi forces are celebrating in the key oil town of Ras Lanuf. They've managed to hang on to the city after repelling an attack by government loyalists, and they vowed to push on to Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte. In Benghazi, funerals have been held for those killed in a blast at a weapons depot. Opposition fighters say pro-Gaddafi forces attacked the store. More than 17 people are thought to have died. Saudi Arabia has banned all demonstrations after a series of minor protests in the oil-producing eastern province. Mainly Shia protesters gathered in the towns of Qatif and Hofuf on Thursday and Friday. They've been demanding the release of all prisoners being held without trial, as well as better access to jobs. Oman's Sultan Qaboos has replaced 2 of his cabinet ministers after days of violent unrest. Protesters have been calling for more jobs and better political representation. Meanwhile, workers have been staging a sit-in at the main oil field in Hama to demand more investment from the state. In the Egyptian capital Cairo, state security officers have been set alight. It's still unclear who started the blaze. It comes after hundreds of protesters occupied the state security building further north in Alexandria. Demonstrators say police had been trying to destroy documents linked to human rights abuses under the former president Hosni Mubarak. Meanwhile, Egypt's former interior minister has pleaded not guilty on charges of money laundering and profiteering. Habib El-Adli was arrested last month and is widely blamed for a violent crackdown on anti-government demonstrators. In Somalia, it's emerged that more than 50 African Union peacekeepers have been killed in fighting there in the past 2 weeks. The deaths come amid a major offensive against al-Shabaab fighters who control large parts of the capital, Mogadishu. Many of those killed are believed to be from Burundi. And China's Premier Wen Jiabao has pledged to reduce inflation and corruption and raise his people's income levels. Wen told the National People's Congress in Beijing the measures are necessary to maintain social stability. The theme of happiness, alongside a 5-year economic plan, dominated his address at the start of this year's parliamentary session. Those are the headlines for now. I'll be back at the top of the hour, but the news continues after Inside Story.
The most populated country on Earth, the world's fastest growing economy, a land undergoing profound change. Al Jazeera presents Faces of China, a series of films from Chinese filmmakers working independently, telling personal stories in their own way. This is an insider's look at China. In this episode, a young man embarks on a personal journey of discovery, traveling with his father to try to understand why his parents divorced. Director Gan Chao examines the social challenges faced by a modern Chinese family.
你十几岁的时候，小的时候我跟你说过这些问题吗？我没跟你说过。
就是啊。 我一直觉得很良好，只知道我工作之后这些事情全都暴露出来。你说我怎么承受这些东西啊？
那我用心良苦，那你又知道吗？我还不是为了你好好成长啊。
那你跟我说过这些吗？你又没说过，我怎么知道呢？
影响到你呢？
你要我去怎么？
你当时小时候，你知道你爸背叛我的时候，你说了一句什么话？
打死陆金华。
对，我恨不得拿枪打死陆金华。你说过这句话？
我是说过，我到现在都记得。
那就得了呗，那就说明你还记得有那么回事。
那不就好了吗？ 那就为什么呢？为什么现在我会变成这样子，你们会变成这样子？为什么呢
？This winter, my parents got divorced. My father left with a woman called Lu. He left my mother, who now complains all day long. It's harder and harder every day for me to stay at home.
就我反正是觉得，跟自己的父母没什么话好说，是绝对一个不正常的一个状态。其实有些现在在外面发生，在公司里或者跟朋友之间发生一些问题，回来都应该是跟自己父母说的，至少家里有人跟你谈这些事情。但我现在就是经常是没人可谈，我一个人在想这些东西。
那不说是你的问题啊？
是我的问题。
是因为你每次跟我说了我不理睬你，不愿意跟你说吗？并不是这么回事呀。
是我不愿意说，那我为什么会不愿意说呢？
那就是你自己身上找原因了。
那你不觉得是因为你们这些一些做法或者你们的一些思想影响了我吗？
你不要把我们的事情来强加于你。就像你爸一样，要重新选择婚姻。
不是说你们的婚姻。
对吧？那你也说什么？
你们对生活的一些态度之类的这些东西。
我们对生活什么态度
I often wanted to go and live alone for some time. Then I found this picture in the garbage can. I looked at it a long time and I discovered the face of a stranger, a father I knew nothing about during 24 years. Dad has turned 54 this year. Security agent is his second job. Before, he worked in a zip factory. For me, he never looked like a father, only like an insignificant man I could forget about. But after his second wedding, this insignificant man took a big decision. He spent his savings to take me to a place called Heya. I felt that this place held a secret that was linked to the wreck of my family.
喂，爸爸，你说啥？开会啊？啊？啊？哪度你觉悟来说？咁咪佢就來依嚟吧？依嚟我就嚟。一定要来啊！侬最晓得名字？啥记得是名字？给我来了，三个。等下。那好，我看看看。
今天你们俩终于走在一起了，这也是一件可喜可贺的事。
过了30年，
哎，30年，皆大欢喜。那么，因为这句话呢，有情人终成眷属。在此祝贺新民和清华你们俩白头到老，恩恩爱爱啊！
好。
来啊！
好，来干杯！
干杯啊！哎，白头到老啊！希望你们的后半生是永远。